If you think you're too busy to get jacked, bro, let me tell you how I got jacked while I was working 60 hours a week. And I think right now I'm probably working more than that. But let me just give you guys a little bit of backstory, right? So before I used to do full-time accounting. I studied accounting in university. I did my CPA. I focused in like auditing and management accounting. And you guys know, if you know anything about accounting, month ends, tax season, quarter ends, year ends, they're probably the most hectic times, right? So I remember this one time, like my manager were basically like, yo, we have this deadline for this specific project, and a specific project was more about costing, right? So there was a company I worked for. They used to build new machines. The machines used to do construction work, but we had to make sure the machines were cost effective, meaning if I talk to the purchasing team or the engineering team, right, the costs have to line up because the engineering team, they want to make the machine the most efficient way possible. But sometimes the parts to make the machine most efficient are not the most cost effective, right? So that's where I step in and be like, hey, engineering team, you want to make these things. Purchasing team is like, yo, we can buy these things for this much. And then obviously I come in and be like, yo, this is what the projections look like if you were selling 100,000 of these machines, right? Long story short, that time was a really busy time because you're dealing with so many variables, so many people. And again, on top of that, we had month end, right? We had, bookkeeping, accounts receivable, accounts payable, all that good stuff that happens towards the end of the month where things get really, really busy. So the works end up being like from 8 a.m. starting time to like 7, 8 p.m. And sometimes you log in afterwards, take laptop home, hop on like a VPN and do your work, right? So 12, 13-hour days constantly every single time, right? But this whole time, I was still getting jacked, right? Don't get me wrong. I had obviously a little bit more of a fitness background here, but I just want to share some things that helped me during that time. And I can 100% relate because in that time when I was working, that many hours, I would feel like, low energy. Someone talk to me, and I'm like, yo, bro, I have no energy for this. My brain's fried. I don't want to talk to anybody. I remember feeling like my motivation wasn't that crazy. I was like, yo, man, like I don't really feel like it. What's the point? I'm not gonna get a good recovery. And then you know what? I didn't manage my time that good. Even though I'm this type A personality, this accountant, I just didn't manage my time because I remember I had gaps, especially like after work. I would come home and I'm just so tired. I'm just like scrolling on my phone for an hour and a bit. But that could have been a time where maybe I prep some meals, or maybe I go for a little walk, or maybe get a 20, 30-minute workout in, right? But in my head, I'm like, oh, I have to do 5, 6 days a week. Or if I'm not doing that, I'm not going to make any progress, right? So I can 100% relate in the sense I felt no energy. I felt like I had no motivation. And I didn't manage my time as well, right? A lot of people, when you play sports, when you're younger, or like when you're, in this fitness game for a long time, once you go through these droughts where your fitness isn't as good, you can feel the difference, right? You start noticing like your digestion doesn't feel as good. Your mood isn't as good. You start feeling like you're not treating people as well. You know what I'm saying? So I started feeling all these signs kick in where I'm like, yeah, okay, this is enough. I need to make sure like I start fixing this. And I remember like these are certain things I started implementing right away, right? And obviously, long story short, as I transitioned from being accountant to a trainer, which again has its own busy hours, which I won't even get into. If you've ever been an in-person trainer, got trained by anybody, that person's usually on the gym floor for like 10 hours, 20,000 steps, and they're constantly tired, but that person still gets it done, right? Because these are three things I would say they do and I implemented to overcome this busy schedule. Okay, so number one thing was having some sort of structure to your training, right? I know this sounds really obvious, like having a workout plan. Yeah, bro, obviously, but I don't have time to do that. A lot of you don't even have a structure and you're like, oh, I'm too busy to do workouts. But if you had a plan, you right away cut your energy in half of thinking of what to do in the gym. Because if you're already thinking about what to do in the gym, you're done. You're not gonna go and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, this. And say you do that for a week, 2 weeks, third week cucks in, you're like, oh man, today was a long day at work, my manager's being whatever. And you're like, yo, F it, I don't even feel like thinking about this workout shit right now. But if you have a structure, if you have a clear plan, you have clarity, the likelihood of you actually executing on it is gonna go higher. So number one, have some sort of structure. And understand, you don't have to do any crazy 6-day, 7-day workouts. Do a 3-day, 45-minute full body split. Just be consistent with that. Say 2 days full body, just do that. But be consistent with it for a long period of time and you will reap the rewards for it, right? So that's number one, have some sort of structured training, low hanging fruit. Number two is gonna be some sort of meal prepping, right? And again, I know meal prepping can seem intimidating for a lot of you guys. And I'm telling you, I can't cook. I'm ass at cooking. I don't like, the biggest thing I cook is like, maybe I'll make some oatmeal. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not the best cook in the world, but I do know some hacks for meal prepping, especially with all the clients I've worked with now, right? So number one, couple tools you need I will recommend is get an air fryer, right? And hoping you already have like some Tupperware at home, and then hoping you already have a stove where you can heat stuff on, right? So once you have those tools in pack, wicked, get a food scale, right? So you can measure some quantities. Now, when it comes to the meal prepping itself, have some clear structure, have some clear meals that make meal prepping much easier for you as well, right? Easy way you can set this up is like, you know what? This week, I'm gonna make 2 meals that are just chicken and rice and some veggies, okay? It sounds really basic, and it may not taste the best, but it can create some momentum. And the beauty is you can make food taste much better than you think just by adding some spices, right? So number one step, after you have these tools, you have all the Tupperware and everything ready to go, just make your protein. That's all I want you to do. Once you have your chicken, right, cut it up in pieces. Just make your protein, all of it, and you can just, put some marination in there, put some avocado oil, paprika, some masala in there, spice it up, make it taste good, salt, pepper, all that stuff is great for you, right? Put it in, marinate it, and just throw it all either in the oven or the air fryer. Just cook the chicken, okay? That's all I want you to do. Or if you want to be, even next level, you can just keep it marinated and just air fry it every single night when you're about to eat it. You can keep it simple that way too. But first thing is make the protein. Now the protein is being cooked. Now you make your carb source. What you can do, maybe you can boil some potatoes, or you can put some rice, whatever simple. Since we're choosing rice and chicken, you just put rice on the kitchen thing, right? On the stove. You put some water in there, and then you put some rice. If you're putting half a cup rice, you put double the amount of water. You put some salt in there, and you turn it on full speed until it starts to boil. Then you just let it there for 20-15 minutes, and it'll cook. That's it. So you have the chicken, you have the rice. Now, get some frozen veggies, some California mix, whatever it is. Throw that shit in the air fryer after the chicken's done. Now you have your veggies, you have your protein, you have your rice. You just put it in a Tupperware. Done. Finish, right? Do this on a Sunday for an hour, and do this on a Wednesday for an hour. If you're only training 3 times a week, you can make time for that, right? Just an hour, and you have 2 meals ready. Now, what about the other meals? Keep it mad simple, bro, right? Buy some Greek yogurt, buy some blueberries, maybe throw some almond butter in there, right? And then maybe get some oatmeal, put some whey protein. If oats don't suit well with your digestion, maybe some sourdough bread and eggs, right? Mad simple. Eggs you don't have to prep, just boil them, right, in the morning while maybe you're making your cha or coffee, and have some sourdough in the air fryer, right? So those are 4 meals you can do easily. Sourdough eggs, 2 chicken and rice, Greek yogurt. Done. Again, this is simple, right? But the hard part is actually doing it. Okay, so I know you're listening right now. You're like, oh, yo, bro, that sounds sick. I'm going to execute right away. But I'm telling you, let me start with 1 meal if you need to. But you have to have some sort of structure. So write down what meals you want to make, put it on your fridge, and just start this meal prepping process. Okay? So that's number 2. Being more aware with your nutrition intake. Right away, you're going to feel more energized because you have food in you now. Okay? Third thing, because a lot of times, especially if you're like a type A person and you want to make progress, we want to see some visual progress, right? So tracking some metrics, right? And this could be mad simple, like get a Fitbit, right? Right away you can see, okay, is your steps improving? Maybe is your resting heart improving? Maybe is your sleep quality improving? Those are things, you don't have to do anything. You just fucking wear the watch, okay? So you can start seeing some progress. Couple other things you can start tracking, maybe bi-weekly take a progress picture on Sunday before meal prep. So it's like stacked together. Maybe every Sunday weigh yourself. Or if you want to do it every day, that's cool too. But have some metrics that you're tracking. That way you know you're making progress, right? And if you already have a structured workout plan, tracking your workouts in the gym too, that's going to go a long way too. If you haven't checked out the last video where I go over all the things that we don't do to not get jacked in the gym, if you follow some of those things, that's going to help you as well. Okay, so again, quick summary. I get it. We have low energy. We don't have time. And we have no motivation. But these things are going to be systems in place that are going to help you overcome those obstacles, right? Having a structured workout, having some meal prep structure, and then just tracking a few things so you're motivated to see progress, okay? If you just do those 3 things for me, right, you're going to start seeing some progress, okay? So if you're still finding all this stuff really hard and you're finding yourself too busy to, create a workout structure, nutrition structure, feel free to reach out. We have a bunch of templates. Obviously, there's one-on-one coaching as well. But understand, if you think you're busy now, You're only going to get busier from here. Being busy is probably one of the best things that's going to happen to you, because it's going to be an opportunity for you to actually grow and integrate fitness, integrate getting jacked into your busy lifestyle, right? Understand, say like for example, you're just working full time right now, right? And you're like, oh, I'm too busy over on the work. But imagine when you have a family, you have kids, you have responsibility. Maybe you're running a business, you have 100 employees. The amount of responsibilities you have, if you learn how to integrate and keep fitness as a part of your life, when things get busier, you'll be more likelihood of you actually integrating it is going to go much higher. So understand, being busy is a blessing. Okay, so any questions you guys have, any feedback you have, let me know. Any other suggestions you guys have, any other videos you guys want to see, let me know. Comment, subscribe, and let's get jacked.